Hello YouTube, this is William. I'm getting an order ready to go out to Ridge Runner Blades, some black hats. They should be on their website probably in a couple of 3 weeks, I would imagine. So look on their website for when these are posted. But I thought maybe I would, while I'm doing this, and actually I am doing this. You see the Kydex over there. Knives here from the sale that Kydex is being done for. Usually when I'm doing all of this, I've got like 3 or 4 things going at one time. That's the only way that I can somehow stay up with production. Somewhat. Somebody had asked or made a statement they don't see how I can do all this, but I have list upon list upon list upon list, and if it's not on my main list when I'm working on something, then it gets missed. I forget about it. I just got so many things going at one time. So I thought maybe that I would, in one place, do a video called the WC Knives Disclaimer. If you will. Every knife should be received with this letter, okay? And I don't know that anybody reads it, so I'm going to go through it and explain it a little bit better. And just bear with me. There may be something in here that you wasn't aware of as when it relates to WC knives. I can't speak for other knife companies. I don't know about other knife companies. Don't care about other knife companies. To be honest with you, this is how I do it. This is the WC Knives way. Okay, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just the WC Knives way. All right. Okay. It starts off as dear valued customer, and that is so true. I say it in many videos, and I'll say it again. Thank you so much. You guys are fantabulous. I couldn't do this without you. As far as a business, I would still be making knives, but it would just be for me. But you guys have allowed me to live my dream and to put food on the table. I'm not getting rich. Nobody gets rich making knives. It's just a living. Okay. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys are what makes this thing go. So thank you. And let me, first of all, let me thank you for choosing a WC Knives for cutlery. I've covered that. Without you and others like you, we would not exist. Secondly, let me congratulate you on selecting a knife design that is perhaps designed more toward function and versatility than any other cutlery in the world. Every one of my designs is thoroughly vetted by me, and in some cases by experts in the field of what I am trying to accomplish, such as hunters, trappers, survival experts, and so on and so forth. A lot of those individuals are part of the R&D phase, and you'll see videos throughout my website or my YouTube channel of those knives in R&D and research and development with those other players. Now, I don't pay them. They do get to keep the knife, but I don't pay them to say what they're going to say. It is strictly up to them. Let the dominoes fall where they may. If the knife needs work, then I expect them to tell me, and this is all set up front. I want a true and honest opinion as they're researching and developing these blades. So this is not a paid advertisement when they're doing the research. This is something to give me feedback as if I'm on the right track or not. Okay, so that's what the R&D portion is for, and this is what my goal is as far as making the best function and versatility in every blade that I do. Okay, so the next paragraph says, I strive for perfection. However, all WC knives are handmade. I don't have CNC machines. All are handmade by 2x72 grinders. And if you watch through my videos, you'll see the grind room. There's like 4 or 5 2x72 grinders, and everything is done on those grinders from blanks that you see on the wall in the grind room that is water jetted locally to my specs and my designs. So I take those blanks, and there's another video that tells you the overall process of how all this works, and I'll link that at the end of this video if you've not seen that. But everything is handmade by me. Now, tolerances, everything has a tolerance. Every industry has a tolerance. The steel plates that I get in has a tolerances. Not everything is 0.125 for 1/8 inch. Everything has tolerances, so some of it may be a little thicker, some of it may be a little thinner, but they're within their tolerances. They call that 1/8 inch. Okay, so you have to take all that in consideration. When I'm grinding, I may take a 1/16 off here and there to get that grind line right, or to work out a flaw or something. But overall, that knife design is going to be very, very, very close to what the specifications call for. Okay, but you have to consider that this is not CNC'd. This is all hand ground. Okay, belts wear, platens that the belts run on, the rollers that the belts roll on, is they all wear, so they're not exactly the same every time you grind a knife or a handle. Okay, so take that into consideration. Are all handmade and will show that human touch in the aesthetics, but never in performance or its intended task. That is the goal. Sometimes the aesthetics may vary slightly, but its purpose and its intended task will never be weakened or compromised. It says, I design and make knives that are to be used. My knives are not highly polished or machined with precise computerized equipment with perfect symmetries, there we go, or lines. Each knife is as unique as you, the owner, and holds a certain charm not found in mass-produced cutlery. If you're looking for the same knife every time you buy it, then you should go with a knife at Walmart, okay? Or a knife that comes from a company like Buck or Case that has everything CNC'd to precise and calculated tolerances, okay? Handmade is not going to get you there, okay? I don't care what shop it is, all right? Okay. So next paragraph says, I prefer a knife that will take a very sharp edge and hold that edge a reasonably long time. So through testing and experimenting with Rockwell hardnesses and edge angles, I prefer a very thin cutting edge, which is 12 to 13. Again, those are those tolerances because platens wear, belts wear. So that angle is not going to be precisely 12 or precisely 13 every time. So it's going to be within that range, all right? On either side. That is for full flats, that is for sabers, that is for the compound grinds such as the Black Hat. Every knife angle that I do, here's the EDC, that is a 12 to 13 degree bevel that you sharpen. Everything else, the secondary grinds and all that other stuff that I do, you don't have to worry about, okay? But the knife edge that you sharpen is the same angle throughout the entire knife from the handle to the tip, okay? So that's the 12 to 13 degrees on either side. So these work sharp tools that have the angles given to them will not work with my knives. Now the actual ceramics, the diamond plates and all that other stuff work great. They're a fantastic product. You just cannot use their angles. Do not work on my blades. Now, if you want to change the angle on my blades, then that is an option. I don't think that they're the optimum angle, but it's your knife. You do with it as you please, all right? I also prefer a higher Rockwell than most manufacturers provide. Depending on steel, but on average, the Rockwell is 59 to 62. To be a little bit more precise, the stainless steels are 61 to 63 for the most part. Now when you get into CPM steels, that varies. I try to go a little bit higher, like 64 to 66 66, somewhere along in there. But in general, AEBL and Nitro V is 61 to 63. For the tool steels, even the 3Vs and the old ones, I try to stay below 60. Right around this part, 58 to 60 on that. So just kind of give you an idea of where I'm at on angles. And that's where I find is the sweet spot for my heat treat, because everything is heat treated in-house by me. So, and even crowd treated with nitrogen tanks to do the crowd treatment. So everything is done by me in this shop once I get the steel back from my fab shop for water jet. Okay, each blade is tested in my shop before setting handles. I have a Rockwell tester, and it's over there. Each blade is tested for Rockwell to make sure that it meets that quality standard. Okay, every blade, not batches, every blade is tested before a handle is set. Okay. These unique angles and hardness gives me a better performing knife for a primary use, such as cutting and slicing. That's what I think a primary use for a knife is. Not pry bars, not beating on it, but slicing and cutting. That's what my goal is as far as a designer, to create the best cutting tool that you can buy. All right. Next paragraph. Due to this higher RC and finer angles, I am not a fan of batoning. Make that clear. I am not a fan of batoning. I have very thin edges. I have higher Rockwells, and so that is a word of caution when you start beating on a knife. And let me just throw this in here. The industry in general has gotten way out of bounds with this batoning thing. If you'll look at the experts, Ray Mears, Morris Kahansky, they always throwing these guys up. Well, these guys baton. Yes, they do. A small baton taps on very small materials. Now, Morris Kahansky was showing you how to go around the edge, but he never beat on the blade. He tapped. Okay, so there's a difference, because there's vibrations and all kinds of things that happen to that steel that has caused that steel to fail. Now, a lot of people say, well, we're testing the blade to make sure that the fabrication process is correct. Okay? Well, that is a cop-out, in my opinion. If you go with an established company that has been in the business for 5 years or more and not gone bankrupt, then they know what they're doing, okay? If you go with known steels that is fabricated by known fabrication companies, then those steels 99.999% of the time is done correctly, or they wouldn't stay in business. Okay, nobody stays in business long by giving you a substandard product. All right, word travels fast, bad news travels faster. Okay, so just throw that out there. Now, some people say that they've been batoning on their knife for years, and then suddenly they hit a piece of kindling with it and the blade breaks. That's because of a fissure that is created in that blade, and I explained that in a video that I'm going to mention here in a little bit. It's because of vibrations and harmonics in that edge as you're beating on it, not tapping on it, but beating on it, that will find a weak spot in that blade, and most of the time it's up against the 90-degree edge, and it'll cause a fissure, and it'll eventually work through that blade. That doesn't mean that the knife is substandard or poor quality. That means you overextended that blade's capabilities. That's what that means, okay? If it was bad steel, it would have broke the first time you beat on it. All right, if it was poor craftsmanship, it would have broke the first time you beat on it. All right, so that just means that if you've been beating on it for a week, 2 weeks, a year, 3 years, 10 years, and it suddenly breaks, it's because that fissure or crack eventually worked through that blade. All right. Okay. Says there are vibrations and harmonics involved with batoning that could damage or even cause failure given the right circumstances for any knife design or brand. And I've seen them all break. I've seen every knife brand that you can imagine, even custom shops knives break. Okay. It's because people overextend that knife. So I explain these issues in a YouTube video titled Batoning, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Okay, and I will try to link that video at the end of this one if you have not seen that. I've done a couple of them on batoning and my thoughts on it. It's the science behind it, okay? It says, I do think there are reasonable circumstances when batoning is needed and helpful, such as for crafts or kindling, okay? Not firewood, okay? Kindling. 2-inch thickness or less, straight grain and not free for a 5/32 thick blade or thicker is reasonable, okay? Now, again, there's proper technique involved, there's proper wood selection involved, there's a lot of things to do a well-learned craft. Batoning is a craft. It is not something that you can just go out there and just start beating on firewood in the backyard. It is a craft that you learn, okay? If you need to split a 4-inch log, I recommend an axe or a froe, and I should throw a tomahawk in there because a lot of people say I don't want to carry a 2-pound axe. Well, get you a tomahawk head. I mean, same thing. Very light, about the same weight as a knife. In addition, the knife is not a pry bar, so any side pressure on that blade will cause it to snap because I use higher Rockwells for edge retention. Says I do warranty every knife. I do warranty every knife, but also rely on you, the customer, to use sound judgment and proper technique when using your knife in all situations for not only safety, but also for the longevity of your cutlery. So I expect you, the user, to use common sense and proper technique when you're using this knife at all times. Since all knives have a limited lifetime warranty against defects, I strive to provide you the best cutlery product I can make. However, some knives do slip by. It's just a matter of volume. The more knives you make, the more things that you've got going on. Things do slip by. So it's one of those things that it does happen. I've had warranty issues. I can probably count on one hand, but I've shipped out thousands. We're probably out of the last 12, 13 years that I've been in full-time business, we're probably closing in on 10,000 blades out on the market worldwide. And I doubt if 1-2% of them has a warranty issue, but I've taken care of everything that I'm aware of. If you come across something on your blade that you are concerned about, or you don't like, or whatever, then please, and there's a personal email address here, williamcollins@wcknives.com, for you to contact and talk to me about it, okay? And please, once you get your knife, if it comes from my website, you will get a review request within a couple of weeks of shipment or something like that. If you have any reason that you can't give me a 4 or 5-star rating, then you contact me and let's talk about it. Okay, after you talk to me and I can't resolve your issue or won't resolve your issue, then feel free to write any review that you feel is appropriate, okay? But give me the opportunity to address that concern first, please, okay? Thanks again for your purchase and support. With a little care, I know you'll enjoy your WC Knives cutlery for a lifetime, all right? So that's the issue that comes with this. Now, like I say, I've got a lot of things going on at one time. Most of the time I'm heat treating while I'm doing at least 2 other things going on at the same time. So that's how things are done in WC Knives. I hope this kind of gives you an insight in how things are done. I know this is about a 30-minute video, but I wanted to cover that letter and go into a little bit more detail on it, and let you guys kind of know my thought process about WC Knives and the disclaimer of WC Knives, and what I think a knife should be or should function. Thank you again. You guys are fantabulous. Thanks. That's all I can say. Thank you. So until the next one, you guys get in the backyard, whittle on a stick. Be sure to take a child with you, get the opportunity.